It's gonna be black.
What is up, you guys? Welcome back to our channel. On today's episode, we're gonna go ahead and get everything on this BMW X3 M40i all buttoned up front, put our bumper on there, and hopefully everything fits perfectly. Our gaps are already aligned with our fender gaps and our hood gaps once the frame already got pulled, and that was in the last episode. But on this episode, hopefully the bumper lines up. We're gonna mock fit like everything, and on top of all that, we gotta go ahead and source our wiring issue. We got a whole harness here, and we are not the ones that actually took the vehicle apart. So with that being said, there's so many sensors, so many wiring that, you know, and a loom that goes everywhere. So we got to figure all that out as well. That way we don't have any error lights when everything's all buttoned together. So without any more talking, let's just jump straight into work and get this thing all done. So here is where we left off on our last video. We got all the coolers all in there, the subframe is all straightened out and everything else as well. And now we got our parts here, and we got the bumper here, this bracket, this other bracket there. We got the wiring harness here. We've got our headlight here. We've got another headlight here. And we have a lot less boxes here as well, guys. So we're working our way through. Here's all the old boxes that we got to get rid of, and our cooling system and everything. If you haven't checked out that previous video, go ahead. But we weren't the ones to pull this stuff apart. We got some leftover parts here, and you know how that goes, trying to put it all back together. You might be missing stuff, you might not. Hardware, definitely. We ordered all the hardware from BMW, so we should be good on that. And this is the bumper here. Let's go ahead. We got to figure out this wiring harness here. This somehow has a ton of connectors. 1, 2, it looks like the main connector there. Then you got, I'm guessing this is for the camera system up front. These are parking sensors all throughout. Then you got some connectors over there. We'll figure this out first. We also got to replace our crash data sensors, or crash bar sensors. I don't know what you guys call this exactly. I call it crash bar sensors up front. Front impact sensors, I think, is the proper term for this. And we got one here on the front frame rail, and we got one up here as well. Very easy to get to. Just unplug, take that out. And this is what sends the data to basically blow up your airbags inside if these are bent or got enough impact on them. So, but this all unbolts, like I said. The main frame rails are good to go. So let's change this out first, and then we'll go ahead and figure out this wiring mess and jump on to everything else. So we got the wiring harness all figured out. It was pretty simple and straightforward. These are all parking sensor connectors over here. These two extra connectors, I'm not sure what they go to. And on my BMW, I've got parking sensors on the side and up front, and there's a total of 4 sensors. And this, my parking sensors that I ordered from BMW does not fit this end connector, nor do I have a harness for this. So, and it's both on the same side coming over here. We already got all these all plugged in. We just have these two left. And I called BMW, and they informed me that if this wire harness was used on different vehicles, these two plugs can be left empty. And so he went and checked and got back to me and said that was indeed the case. So if you guys are rebuilding a BMW and you guys have extra connectors, he said that they usually just zip tie them or tape them off to the side, and these connectors are not used. So that is good. I thought maybe we had the wrong wiring harness, and then we got one extra one lift over here, and this is for the camera that goes behind the kidney grill. There's a big camera on there, and that's what I'm saying, guys. The fact that this bumper is missing, that camera alone is $500. So, you know, a little small camera just like that, 500 bucks right off the bat. Then you got all the little pieces that go on the bumper and the fascia and all everything else. So now we can go ahead and install our bar, I believe, and then this, and then mock fit the bumper, and hopefully everything lines up pretty good. Now, I've got to be honest, guys, I thought when I saw that wiring harness like that and those two extra connectors, I was a little bit worried. And quite frankly, I've never put one of these, you know, newer cars together like a 2022 model. And this thing has so many cameras and sensors. I mean, cameras in the side view mirrors and all that stuff too. And when you don't take stuff apart, you do feel a little bit nervous, but it was pretty easy. So I'm hoping everything else goes as smoothly as this. Let's go ahead and put the rest of the stuff on and see what we're working with. So our vehicle is running, we got the headlights installed, but we have no lights. Light switch is also on, guys, so I'm not sure. It keeps giving us an error. Our lights are flickering really fast as well. So I am not too sure what's going on. Guys, I did remember something, and it might be just a BMW thing, because on the Mercedes, we didn't have to program any of the headlights when we got the new headlights, even though we bought them brand new from a separate donor car with the ballasts that were different. I've been reading online on the forums, and on the BMWs, looks like they have to get programmed for them to even turn on. So that's our problem right there. We got everything connected. I double checked, triple checked our wiring harness. And so we're gonna have to go ahead and get this programmed. But for now, let's go ahead and throw the bumper on there and see if that fits up and lines up. And then we're off the paint and we'll figure out the programming later. There you have it, guys. Everything on this thing lines up really good. And on top of this, I have not put any of the bolts in there as well. And you guys can see I didn't want to start clipping all these in all the way because I'm going to take it right back off when we paint it. But everything on this thing lines up really good. Same with here. That gap is good. This gap's going to get situated once we push all these clips in. And I don't want to push them in because I'm just going to have to redo them and take them all back apart again. But I am really happy with how this turned out, guys. So let's go ahead, prep this bumper, and we're off to paint. Bumper is all wet sanded, everything's complete. Everything on the bumper looks good. There's no like bends or anything like that when it got into shipping. And on top of that, you want to make sure you go ahead and sand this down. We use 600 grit sandpaper and we wet sand this down. A lot of shops you go to will not do that. They'll just go ahead and adhesion promote it with the Bulldog and then spray the paint on there. We'll go ahead and sand this down completely, wax and grease it, then spray our Bulldog adhesion promoter, and then go ahead and spray the paint in the clear, and if it's a tri-coat, your mid coat and whatnot. And it's your front bumper, so think about it. Everything gets splattered all over it, rocks, bugs, and all that stuff, and you don't want to be the guy driving down the road with your bumper all chipped up. Let's go to the booth. We're going to start spraying some base coat on this thing. Actually got another piece right here, which we have to also paint instead of the bumper, and that goes on the fender arch. And then we have our two little parking sensors right over here. But that's all easy stuff right there, guys. Let's go ahead, start shooting some paint on this thing. mixed up our paint. Our paint is all in, ready to go. Very easy. We use PPG paint over here, and it's Deltron and DBC. But every paint manufacturer is different. So what you do is, you see how there's 1 to 10 on the right side over there? Or also you could use the fluid ounces if you'd like. Paint usually mixes 1 to 1, but just check with your manufacturer because sometimes it can be 2 to 1. And we normally just go up to 3, and then with the paint that we get in that can, and then we also have some reducer that's right in here. And the reducer goes to the other half, which 3 plus 3 equals 6. So you go up to the 6 line, mix it up, and go in your gun. Now on your gun right over here, as you can see, you don't need a super expensive gun. It's all about the sprayer itself. We painted supercars with this gun. I've never had any issues. The reason I like this gun, if it ever gets clogged, which this has been almost a year and a half, I always clean it, make sure everything's good. If it's ever been clogged, you just throw it away. It's $13, $14. This right here is the adjustment for the fan, which adjusts how much the width is of the sprayer. This right here adjusts how much paint comes from the top of this down below. And then of course you got the bottom adjustment, which adjusts your air pressure. Now when you're spraying clear, you want to turn up your air pressure a little bit, but not too high. And I'm going to show you guys a little difference on this board right here, on the cardboard down below, to show you guys what it actually looks like if you have your gun adjusted the wrong way and what it looks like if it's the right way. So I'm going to turn in this top knob all the way to the closed position, and I'm going to show you guys what happens. Did you notice how nothing happened? The moment I loosened this up a couple knobs, and you can play around with this, now how stuff that comes out. But our gun still is not properly adjusted. As you can see, there's a spot here and a spot there, and not enough going down the center. So what we do to correct that, we'll play with this. We can play with this right here. If you turn this in all the way, let me show you what happens. Well, that's not good either, because that just makes a big giant circle. So you play around with this to get your set and play with the air pressure a little bit. And once you get a good set, it should look something like this. As you can see, it goes on 50-50 when you overlap, but it sprays a really nice fan width. It's already drying out because we are using paint thinner inside the gun, so we don't waste any paint. But go ahead and try it with your gun. Paint thinner is really cheap, and you can get the hang of it and how to adjust it. Now, before you lay down your paint, get the Bulldog real quick. Just mist it on there. You're not going too heavy, but you can just go real light on top of that. Give this thing about 10 minutes to flash, and then you're ready for some base coat.
Alrighty guys, so we've already got our base coat all mixed up already, and we've already sprayed everything. Our next step, after letting that thing flash for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your temperature of course, our booth is around 85 degrees right now inside of there, so about 15 minutes or so, we're gonna then mix some of our Green Tech clear coat. Now Green Tech is not sponsoring this video by any means, but if they do want to, feel free to send me over some more stuff because I really love using their clear coat. The clear coat mix is 2 to 1, you got 2 parts clear, and then you have the hardener right behind it, and then the one part goes 2 to 1 to 1. And I'm going to show you guys just in a minute of how that mixes. but that one part mixes with the reducer, and this is some really good clear. One coat of this clear almost looks like you have 2 or 3 coats on, and we're still gonna finish this bumper and that fender trim with 3 coats of clear. It's a European clear. It's gonna be super thick and look really nice. So here's how you actually mix your clear coat. Every clear coat manufacturer is different, but if you look on the back of this paint mixing cup, you'll see how it's got different graphs and mix ratios and everything else. And on this clear specifically, it mixes to a 2 to 1 to 1 setup. So if you're gonna put clear coat up to the 3, your next hardener will be up to that 3 right over there, and then you're gonna skip this 0.5, and then your reducer is gonna be up to that 3. So when you fill it, in essence, the clear is gonna be there, the hardener is gonna go up to there, and then your reducer is gonna go up to there. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this right now. Then you stir it all up, pour it in your gun, and start spraying. Also guys, if you guys do have any dust or anything that land on your base coat, meanwhile while you're mixing up the clear coat or anything like that, you can use a tack cloth or something like a tape and wrap it around, just pick at it and just slowly pick out your imperfection. In our case, we have the fan blowing right over there, and we don't have any issues like that because everything in here is only for painting. We don't do any body work or anything else like that. We're gonna go ahead and spray our clear coat. If you do everything correctly in the steps that I showed you, 2 coats, 3 coats are clear, and then go ahead and spray your finishing clear on there and make sure you're in a dust-free environment, you should have a product like this. And man, this thing turned out really good. Alrighty guys, so it is now the next day. We've let this paint cure on this bumper for a good 24 solid hours. And we are here, and we're gonna go ahead and assemble this bumper. But before I do that, let me show you guys how it turned out. So there is the trim that came in, and that trim turned out amazing. Nothing on the paint, no runs or none of that. Looks really good, and that goes on that wheel well arch over there on the passenger side. Also the front bumper, can't forget about that. Turned out beautiful, guys. Everything on this came out great. And we did the 2 parking sensors right down there as well, as you guys can see it. So we're gonna go ahead and assemble this bumper. Now you guys will see this thing all bare, and then you guys will see the after. So we got our bumper all assembled, but we are missing this last piece over here. I guess the dealer did not send this piece when I asked him for everything that I need on the front end, but that's okay because there's a lot of parts on this front end and mistakes do happen. So we got another one on the way and we're waiting on that to come in. And on top of that, guys, before I could put this on, we just hit another problem, and that is the parking sensors that I had painted do not work. And basically I bought a set of 4 parking sensors online, and they all look like this, but we painted 2 of them because 2 of them go on the outside part of the bumper, which is right there. The problem is, well, the 2 on the outside connectors on the bumper, so you got 2, one here and one on the other side, they're different sensors. And this sensor, even though it looks like it fits in the hole and everything, is also different. So one over here is different, and the other one over here as well is also different. So both sensors, there's a set of 2 and 2, and they're both different. And even though they look the same, the inside connectors are different. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we got our 2 sensors right here. If you look at the first one over here, it's got a little cutout right there on the top right, I'd say right now, the way I'm holding it. Now if you look at the other sensor, also 3 prongs, but the cutout for this one is right there on the center of the 2 pins on the top right. So the sensor will not work, and therefore we need to get new sensors for the exterior. And yeah, so while we're having to wait on this, I cannot put the bumper on to the front end of this, even though we got the headlights and the gaps and everything looking perfect. Like, take a look at those headlight gaps. I mean, everything sits perfectly. The bumper's gonna line up perfectly. I just know because everything else lined up perfectly as well. Like, we didn't have to move any of the bolts. All the bolts came exactly in their specific spots, and there's still a lot of adjustments that you have room to adjust with. So lining this up, having gaps, I don't see it being a problem. But we do have to wait for that centerpiece and the sensors to come in before I put this front end together. The tires are in. I don't think we've ever done this color combo yet on any car. Oh. Here we go.
It's gonna be black.
White on black. Look at that. SVF. You ready? Here we go.
Look at Link's face.
He's ready too. Are you ready? He's ready.
He's like, I'm not sure, guys.
He said, I don't know. Why you guys not go with black again? Oh, nope. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That is
beautiful.
wow. Wow. I can't wait to get these mounted.
The camera is almost showing it like silver, but if you go from an angle, you try. It's like a
satin bronze.
Satin bronze.
Yeah. And I love how they did the SVF right there. You know, different. So it's not like just bland. This wheel is so cool. Wow. I wonder what it'll show like if we take it outside. These are light too.
Are they?
Yeah.
You think I can pick it up?
I think so, but these are really light. Like.
Let me try. Oh yeah.
They're pretty light, aren't they?
I'm joking. Yeah, they're actually. I'm surprised. I thought they look really heavy, like heavier than this, but they're not bad. Let's go check them out in the sunlight.
Yeah, I think it's gonna probably definitely change the color when it's out in the sunlight as well.
Probably need that.
Rest it on there.
Oh. Are you scared for your life? Hey, that's not for you.
Let's see what this looks like. Oh yeah.
Does it look different?
Yeah, it definitely looks different. Wow. Wow.
That's kind of a tail. Not really.
That's fine. You can just leave it on there.
There you go.
There's just so much going on this wheel. I love all the it's like
The
intricate
edges
design.
and the
Yeah.
little designs. Yeah.
It's not like the gold.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and catch you guys when we put these back on, but it's definitely really light. So. Guys, the tires are in, the wheels are in, of course. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing loaded up, and on top of that, I went ahead and called the BMW dealership just to see if they had an opening so we can get these headlights programmed and coded. I don't wanna throw the whole front end on, on top of that, we're waiting for the parking sensors to come in, the correct ones. So might as well just take this thing down to their dealership since they have an opening today, drop this thing off, or just wait on it so they can go ahead and code these headlights. So we're gonna go ahead and get the wheels on there right away mounted. After that, go straight straight to the dealership with the brand new wheels on the X3 and get these headlights programmed so hopefully they turn on. But man, take a look at the before. I can't wait to show you guys what the after looks like. Alrighty, so we're gonna give you a ride and the AMG.
Yeah, AMG this one.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
We drive.
You ready?
Yeah.
Alrighty. What do you think? It's fast, huh? Yeah, this corners, it handles really good on the corner too, you know? Maybe high blood pressure? Alrighty, your turn. Like a young boy, huh?
Sport car. Very strong. Very fast drive.
You can drive mom to the restaurant. Whoa.
Nice. Good cars.
950 horsepower.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sometimes have to be careful because they can spin, you know? Oh man. You like it?
Horse car, I like it.
Oh wow, you downshift good too.
Nice car. All people watch car, eh?
So what do you think? It's in park already.
What, ready?
Yeah, automatically. Yeah.
See? You show me or somebody show how retirement man can out from car and like this.
Oh, it's really low, huh? Oh man.
For me, okay.
Did you have fun?
Yo, yeah.
Alright guys, unfortunately that's all the time we have left for today's video. We dropped off the BMW at Hendrix. Make sure the headlights when we get it back hopefully are programmed and they work and we don't have any error codes or anything else that we're missing, because this front end was all entirely missing on this car when we got it. Once we get this thing back, the plan is we're going to take it down to the alignment shop, get this thing, make sure it's all 100% true and straight, because after all, we did tear apart all the suspension on this car, subframe, dropped everything down, and we're gonna make sure everything is 100% OEM plus. Once we get this thing back here, we're gonna put it on the lift, raise it up, make sure everything is good, inspect everything, put the front bumper back together, and hopefully go on our very first test drive. I'm super excited with how everything's gonna turn out. And also guys, that was my father-in-law's very first time in an AMG GT supercar type vehicle. If you guys haven't seen the rebuild videos on this, make sure you guys go ahead and check out my channel. I have all the episodes on there. One of my favorite cars as well, and he absolutely had a blast and loved that car. If you guys like what you guys saw, drop it down in the comments, let me know, smash that thumbs up button, and also guys, subscribe so you guys can stay tuned for the next video that comes out, and you guys can keep track of all the builds that we have coming up. Until then guys, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.